In 2012, Grove City led the PAC in total defense. With fast-paced, wide-open offense being in vogue in college football, how reassuring is it for you to have 7 starters back, including 3 in the secondary and 3 at linebacker for the 2013 season?
Well, it's a really reassuring feeling to have the people coming back. Fortunately, we were able to lead the conference in defense 3 years ago and last year. With offenses today, leading the conference in defense means you slow them down a little bit. You don't necessarily stonewall people like you used to be able to. But we're excited about that. We have a good group coming back. We have a great defensive coordinator and defensive staff that works with them. Brought in some very good freshmen this year, we feel, defensively to add some depth to some of the positions. And so we're excited about that. It's a very positive thing for this year.
What's it like for you going into this season with having a veteran quarterback like Brian Pell back for his 4th year as your starter?
Well, as every coach will tell you, your offense is only as good as the leadership you give to your quarterback position. I've been blessed to have, in the last 8 years, only 2 quarterbacks play for me. One was Andrew DiDonato, who had a 4-year career, and now Brian's in his 4th year. And it's been a pleasure to work with this young man next to me in many, many ways. Athletically, one of them, obviously, but as a young man of character, even more importantly. So it's important to us. He was elected captain by his peers this past spring. So that's what you want at your quarterback spot, as a leader. And I think he is not undervalued as a quarterback in the conference. I think people are aware of him, but he is deceivingly effective. And he does a great job of flipping fields for us, and had a lot to do with our success last year. In a year where we were literally one play away from being an ECAC game. So again, happy to have him and fortunate to have him.
What do you think some of the keys for Grove City to continue its ascent in the conference this season might be? And if you have some at this point, what are some concerns for you going into the season?
Well, the thing we have to do, and we have to address, is we have to start off strong. And as everyone in here would agree, you know, your season begins week 1, and you need to start off on top of that. My philosophy is in any football season, you have short mini seasons. M-I-N-I. You go through a period of 2 or 3 games, and then things will change with injuries, whatever, and you have another group of games you have to get through the year. Concerns are the same across the board, whether you're Waynesburg or Grove City or Carolina, whoever. It's injuries. We're never as good with our backups as we were with the starters, or else it wouldn't have been the starters. Injuries are something that you cannot ever anticipate, but you can anticipate that some of them are going to take place. So hopefully you keep them to a minimum, get a few breaks and things go well.
Coach, last question for you. This is your 30th season as the head football coach at Grove City. It also marks the 30th season of PAC football for Grove City. What has changed the most regarding conference football since then, and what do you think has changed the least?
Oh, it's changed the most, it was kind of touched on initially as far as, I think Gino talked a little bit about, the difference in college football over the years. Probably visibly, the change has been the most noticeable would be just the overall nature of what we have, facility-wise, coaching staff-wise, athlete-wise. If you take a look back on the PAC in 1984 or 86 when Rich joined as head coach, coaching staffs were probably 4 or 5 coaches maximum. You had facilities that were, by the middle of the season, fields were terrible if you were lucky, and horrible if you weren't. And it's been kind of an arms race in facilities in Division III, and hopefully it keeps trickling down because that's what we sense. And I just saw Oregon's facilities, so I hope that trickles down real quick. That's awfully impressive. But that's one of the big differences: the size and strength athletes, another big difference. Things that are the same, I feel people dedicated to doing a great job, representing their college to the best of their ability, working with young men, trying to advance them as athletes, but more importantly as people. Hopefully, all the coaches can count on what I have in Grove City, which is great support from our administration. And those are the things that continue to be strong parts of good programs, and we enjoy that.
Okay, Brian, you have made 21 career starts at Grove City since taking over as a quarterback midway through your freshman season. If you can name one, in what aspect of your game have you had the greatest development in?
If you know me well, I like to talk, so I can't really name one. I've got two. I think one is the obvious one. One is one anybody who's played football for a long time can understand. Is the more you play, the slower it gets, the easier it gets. You don't get surprised by much. And I think that that's the kind of obvious one that everybody can relate to who's been playing this game for a long time. The more you do it, the slower it gets. You can't really surprise me as much anymore. When I'm back in shotgun and I'm seeing things, I'm not surprised by a blitz anymore like I would have been as a freshman. I'm not surprised when cornerbacks are trying to deceive me, backing up and then coming to trap coverage or something like that. Just the very, very basic football side of things, not much surprises me. And then off the field, even though you asked specifically on the field, but I think 21 starts has taught me a lot off the field as well about prioritizing. I think coming in, I expected a lot of things that didn't go exactly as I anticipated. And it really it forced me to reorder things and focus on what really mattered in it all. And I became more team focused, I became more focused on the people and pursuing and serving my guys and enjoying my time with them rather than earning accolades or something like that. So 21 Starts has taught me a lot in both regards. So.
What has it been like having your high school classmate, Anthony Ritchie, as a top target in the passing game in each of your first 3 seasons? And to go along with that, do you feel that familiarity has helped both of you in your respective careers at Grove City?
I've never gotten this question before.
Ever?
Not once. All sorts of media ask this question all the time. And that's the nature of playing in a game with somebody for 8 years now going on. And then you guys will ask him the same questions, I'm sure. And to put it simply, that is my normal. That is his normal. I don't, at this point, our game has kind of integrated together. I only played quarterback a year or 2 before he was my #1 option in high school. So I know we have it down to the T now. Everything is, I know where to put it so he can catch it and no one else can. And so it's one of those things where it's a blessing to have him on the field. And he and I are super close off. Very similar personalities, very laid back. We've gone all over the country together. So it's one of those things where it's awesome on the field because I've got a very close friend who if you got him in single coverage, it's going to be a completion. And then off the field, he and I, we're talking about years from now still being able to meet up and that kind of stuff. So it's a blessing, to put it simply.
Last question, Brian. How did it feel to be selected as a tri-captain for the 2013 season by your teammates? And have you done anything differently this summer in preparation for the season because you are a tri-captain?
Sure. Good question. I think this is kind of a unique thing because everybody goes through a physical regimen of some kind. Everybody here, ideally every player on your team is going through some sort of physical training to better their body for the season. I think now, going into my senior year specifically and as a captain, it's kind of once again twofold. One is the mental side. Now it's really going back, watching the film, what worked, what didn't, what are these teams doing, what are these coaches doing that works, that we can steal or we can change so that they can't game plan for it so easily. So I spent a decent amount of time this summer really focusing on that, kind of amplifying that element of my skill set. And then in leadership specifically as well, how to get the incoming freshmen acclimated as quickly as possible. We want as much continuity as we can get right away. I want to serve those guys, I want to love those guys, and I want them to feel like they're part of the team, feel welcome, so that when we're on the field, we are one unit, we are one product, and we're giving you the best that we got, because we expect to win, we expect to earn it. And so that's those are kind of this summer's things, focusing on how to get those freshmen acclimated with the other leaders and seniors, and then mentally being ready.
Thanks, Brian and Coach Smith. Grove City will get its season underway on September 7th at home against Carnegie Mellon. joined now by St. Vincent head coach Bob Colbert and senior offensive lineman Darius McGee.